Adesso arriva Daniele De Michele, che è conosciuto anche sotto l'alias Don Pasta. Don Pasta è un DJ, ma economista, chef e scrittore. Ha scritto diversi libri, e non solo il remix della Cartusi, ma anche c'è uno che si chiama La parmigiana e la rivoluzione, e c'è una citazione là dentro che dice: a chi dice che viviamo uno scontro di culture, rispondo che il mondo è un incontro di fritture. Grazie.
Hi, I speak in spaghetti English, sorry.
Mentre si impasta, ci va dietro con tutto il corpo.
Food have a sound. I'm a food DJ. My name is Daniele De Michele, but call me Don Pasta. I come from a little country in the front of the sea in the South Italy, Otranto. I am an economist, but for real, I've been a DJ since I was 14. 20 years ago in Paris, I played in a jungle Montmartre, in a Senegalese bistro. Once the boss of the bar told me, make a good pasta for us. The pasta was good. He called me Don Pasta, the king of pasta. Food sound system was born almost as a joke, with 2 frying pans and my vinyl records. I instantly noticed that I touched an important button. Cooking and music are with us every day. A DJ and a cook have the same role to make people happy. The name of the project is Food Sound System, inspired to the recipe of my grandma and to the music of John Coltrane. The first recipe is a parmigiana di melanzane, eggplant lasagna, but in the Salentine way, Salento, my land. It's a richer version of a most noble recipe from Naples. Between each layer of eggplant slice, fried, of course, you should insert fresh tomato sauce, mozzarella, parmigiano, basil, and the tiny meatballs, hard-boiled eggs, and a julienne of mortadella salami. It's a summer dish. Normally we eat on 15 August at noon on the beach, which is 40 degrees, with granny and other red wine, a psychedelic effect. But how was Parmigiana born? Oh, it's so crazy. Is there a kind of Darwinism of gastronomy, a natural selection of favorite dishes of the people? A connection exists between Parmigiana and the community. Throughout the Parmigiana, man protect himself. We are the son and grandson of war, when the people have so much hunger. The nice thing is to offer all that one has, as much as possible. The less you have, more you offer. Everywhere is the same, with the cassoulet in France and the names in Vietnam and the Parmigiana. You give away what you might need in the future to protect yourself throughout the community. Because man is a social animal, like Karl Marx used to say, a huge fan of Parmigiano of my grandma. And so, I show you my hardly work. So there are problems. There are a video where I show how can I eat with the old grandma in Italy. And from a performer with food and music, I transform myself in a food anthropologist. So I started traveling in Italy and reviewing many recipes that I tasted, all I tasted. I grew up with my grandma, Chiarina, who taught me the pleasure of cooking Watching her movement, I noticed how much knowledge, attention, and respect her hands held. I say to myself, there are millions of grandma who have the same attitude of my grandma about cooking, finding the right product, grind food, and offering it. So I started my project about the roots of Italian food. It's a book, Artusi Remix, and it's a film, The Villains, I Villani, that I present in next September in Venezia International Film. And that's the start.
La terra ha bisogno dell'uomo. Se l'uomo non c'è più, la terra rimane lì e aspetta l'uomo.
In order to produce a serious work on the Italian food, I had to start with the origin, with Pellegrino Artusi, the first one who, in the late 19th century, codified the Italian cuisine. Artusi cataloged about 700 home peasant recipes. For Artusi, and for me, a recipe is a complex system or transfer of knowledge which contain all the affective elements, family and personal memories, the relationship with the origin. That's the reason why, to write my book, I sent to all my contacts in Italy a hardly questionnaire. Your favorite recipe, origin of the recipe, name, place of residence, a place of origin, age, profession. What is cooking to you? Who are you? Daniele, why all this question? Because I need the story of the people in kitchen, not just a recipe. But what's a recipe? Peasant cooking is rooted in a process of information sharing among people from the same area, which lead to an invention, a recipe. A traditional recipe is born of an agreement between the people who get together and ask, what we do with the aubergine and mozzarella and tomato? So people invent all together Parmigiana recipe. The resulting version is therefore a child of compromise. Peasant recipes are no written recipe. There are no quantity or exact procedure. There is an outline that all the people from the place know. Every family has one version, its own recipe, but there are just one outline for everybody. A recipe is not a tradition, it's a dynamical stuff. A recipe is a state of mind. A recipe is a collective intelligence. To make pane carasau, you need to be a scientist, a magician. No. Every people in Sardinia know how to make pane carasau. Pane carasau is a complex thing, but accessible to everyone. You think that to learn about Italian food, you should ask the chef? Sorry for the public today. No. Completely wrong, historically and technically. The entire last century is full of chef educational cookbook, which teach people how to cook by explaining each step. We are talking about of deductive method of teaching how to cook. The chef on TV, on book, say, you put this and after this, and you do this and after this. Italian peasant food was not born this way. Generally, the grandma don't teach. She knows that you are learning by observing, and that after this, you will try to make this dog and sauce and pasta for years, making mistake and asking questions. And little by little, you will get closer to the original, normally at the end of your life. Learning a recipe can be defined as follows. Intelligence or cognitive ability is very different from the accumulation of knowledge and idea. It means knowing how to solve a given problem by observing reality and life lesson. This is the basis of peasant cooking rooted in the empirical deductive method, the method which was always used in the kitchen and then disappeared suddenly.
Allora monica che si cultura a camore, monica che si cultura a camore, monica non fai più proprio. È l'umanità che fessa. Perché se non si fosse l'umanità, in questo periodo non si fosse niente che si vuoi che stiamo e queste cose, crisi, perché noi praticamente abbiamo che fare i soldi, e i soldi non ci mangiamo, ci mangiamo tre, ci mangiamo più loro, poi ci mangiamo dai soldi. E allora se noi puntiamo sui soldi, e allora perciò non stiamo finendo, e finiremo perché noi puntiamo un po' per i soldi. Questa è l'umanità che ci autodistruggiamo. Io no, sono tutta la cultura nostra è collegata tutto, è un filo, politica, cultura, un mangiare. Però noi resistiamo, siamo come una cosa rara, però resistiamo, poi tanto quanti anni potremmo campare? Mica potremmo campare per 200-300 anni.
What happens in the transition from empiric inductive method to deductive method? You actually avoid the cognitive process inherent to human beings and do it for them. This is called Marxist alienation. You take away instrument which people self-determine their knowledge. The way that will be less reactive when beside the cognitive instruments. You take away good homemade food and replace it with food which is poised but cheaper. Do you want to know what do you eat when you buy tomato sauce? Tomatoes variety imposed by seed producer, treated with all kind of poison to make more of them. They're cheap by large distributor, picked by migrant workers in condition of slavery, transported by mafia all around Italy, then finished, sold to consumer to 50 cents. But if you eat poorly, the body gets sick. And you forget that eating is a social occasion, as in a Parmigiano of my grandma. The soul gets sick. That's the start of the end of the Italian food. That's the start of the end of the popular food everywhere in the world.
Prima il mare era il mare. È finito, bella, è finito. Se tu vai al porto non trovi il pesce tutto dell'Italia. Le donne vecchie delle cinesi. Non le mandiamo alle cinesi le mandano con le scatolette, ma che è?
Ah, punnezza in dei macellerie, robe 4 euro, 5 euro, che ci vanno da 5 euro. Ma scusa, da 5 euro un maiale, come si può dare carne di maiale?
Ha vinto la globalizzazione, ha vinto il potere. Poi i grandi che ne sanno della campagna, insomma.
Non ci crede più nemmeno il consumatore, cioè, lo tiri fuori da un supermercato e non ci va matto, cioè, non ci riesce proprio a consumare diversamente. Si sta costruendo uno spartiacque tra proprio ceti sociali diversi. Tra chi consumerà del cibo buono saranno i potenti e chi dovrà consumare soltanto quello che proviene da culture pesanti. Chimica. Massivo.
Ma pompi con una cosa, si pompa con un'altra, si pompa con un'altra. Quello è tossico, quello è veleno.
Un porco che cresce, in hanno spaccato così, che lavora, porcella, siamo porchi sintetiche sono, no?
Cioè, mi ricordo 30 anni fa la vacca, dice che una vacca buona superava 20 litri, 24, 25 litri giornalieri. Poi 30, poi 40, ora mi pare che sono azzeccato quasi 60 litri all'uno. Cioè, sono robot oramai, non so chi vacca. E producevamo solo schifezze, poi ce la mandiamo che stiamo di malattie, là sai, ma come venne? Venne tutto perché tutto quello che trasa per la bocca si trasforma in malattie.
The rebirth of food. What I talk about in my film, in my book, is the result of this long trip inside the Italian kitchen. I know, for most people, these ways of cooking, which almost don't exist anymore. But the people I met are real. These are the people who believe that preserving their tradition, respecting the land, the sea, and the animal is a good thing. They're giving their children healthy, inexpensive, and good food is a moral rule. If you don't take this into account, we will never manage to become the food activists we want to be. Scientists, intellectuals, cooks, activists are not enough. What is needed is a universal knowledge of people in the kitchen. We cannot be as those people are. they are a different story. It's the refugees of food. But as they do, we need to have a critical mind in the front of any idea of food, which in fact is destructive for environment, for story, for identity. How can you then believe in a world which, to get rich, loses memory and sicken its body and soul? Human beings always go forward. It is a nature to transform, contaminate, reinvent his own story. But no one can transform a forgotten story. Otherwise, anyone can tell you about another story, totally different and wrong, and convince you it is of absolute truth. No technological innovation, no world commerce, no regulation law can ever replace those flavor, those aroma, those intelligence acquired in 2 millennia of Greco-Romano culture. We need to protect altogether the roots of the Italian food, the roots of popular food everywhere in the world. Because the genius of Italian food, which sprung from next to nothing, helped us live with dignity throughout unemployment, injustice, immigration, infamous old and new regimes, war and hunger. Let's protect ourselves, keep frying.